Hey guys. Well, why are you laughing? Because why are you laughing?
Because you should talk.
Guys, I'm not a talker.
And that's
I'm not a talker on camera.
on camera. So.
Well, anyway, welcome back to our channel. We are the West African Backpackers. My name is Kofi, and that is my beautiful wife, Hayana. So, tonight, we are here. What are we talking about?
Well, before we get started, let's do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, our channel, let's talk about our channel really quickly. So when we first started our channel, we were the West African Backpackers because we were traveling like all throughout Ghana. We traveled to Togo, Benin, Senegal, and everywhere we would go, we would have our backpacks. And we would laugh because we would stay at budget places because we love adventure. Like we like luxury, but we prefer budget because we're not rich right now. Like we almost there, but we ain't there yet. So that's how it all started. So now that we're like slowing down with traveling because we gotta like invest more and try to start up more of our businesses, we just talk about our life here in Ghana as an intercultural couple because I am American, Black American, African American. I'm a Black person who was born in America, and my husband is Ghanaian, true and through, Ghanaian. So now we just come up and we just talk about stuff. So that's basically what our channel is about. So we just talk about stuff. But tonight we wanted to talk about finding love in Ghana. We are not the experts. By far, we are not the experts, but a lot of people hit us up and make comments about how they want to find what we have. And it's like, we don't know the answer. All we can offer is just our story. And I don't think we've ever told our story here. So our story, how did we meet? Like, that's the biggest thing that people ask us. They're like, how did you meet? How did you meet? And we've told our story on other platforms, but I don't think on our channel we really like told people like how we met, how we fell in love, how we got married, how we're like building legacies together. So the first step is like, how did we meet, my love?
Okay, so
go ahead. We gotta share the responsibilities.
Oh,
or you want me to tell?
Responsibilities, even on camera. Okay, well, guys, you say how we met. I'll say it.
Now he want me to talk. He want me to be talking.
She's a talker, guys.
So basically, we met here in Ghana. We met here in Ghana. I came on a tour. You know, they was doing tours the year return. I had no clue it was the year return. Even though all my life I've always dreamt of coming to Africa. I used to have dreams about Africa. I used to talk about being in Africa, but I had no clue about the year return because I was, just in the U.S. grinding, not really, planning to come to Ghana or Africa in 2019. But it just so happened that my sister made a down payment one day, and I was teaching in summer school, always grinding, always working. So I was teaching autism in summer school, summer of 2019, and that's when my sister called me and was like, oh, I made a down payment for us to go to Ghana. And I was like, oh, that's dope. Like, so I think once she told me that, we came shortly after, and I really wasn't like researching. Like, I've heard about the Adinkra symbols and like Kente, but I never really, I knew a lot about Nigerian, I think, culture more so because not growing up, but living in DC was a lot of Nigerians, or I knew like people from Sierra Leone or Liberia, like living in Philadelphia. But Ghana, like I never knew a lot about Ghana. So I was just excited. We travel a lot, and I went with a group of people who travel the world. So I didn't like have no expectations. I wasn't like looking up stuff. I'm gonna go with the flow type of person. So we came on the tour, and it was about 7 of us, right? It was 7 of us.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, it was 7 of us who came on the tour, and Kofi was our tour guide. Well, he was a part of because you were one of the tour guides, but you were like the main tour guide who was like taking us around. And because the first time when we arrived, it was somebody else who picked us up.
Yeah.
But the first night that we came, they were taking us to Sky Bar, and then Kofi showed up. So I was like, oh, who this? I wasn't thinking that. I was just like, oh, hi, like, nice to meet you. And it wasn't really, it was just like, oh, like, okay, he's cute. Oh, as I was saying, his phone. I mean, I was just like, oh, when you come to Ghana, you see all the handsome men. Like, everybody's handsome. Everybody's cute. But I was definitely not on that at all. Like, I was not looking for love. I just got laid off from my job. I was not even in that space. I was just like, ooh, I can get away.
Yeah. No, it's like my face is dark. It's like the lighting is
because you're dark, my love.
Yeah, I thought
you're a chocolate. You're a dark-skinned man.
I thought the lighting is not really on that. That's fine.
Anyway, so that's basically like our first encounter, how we first met each other, right?
Yeah.
So that night goes on. The next day, I don't even remember all. He remembers all the details, but we don't even got to get into the details of like day to day to day. Again, my first trip to Ghana, I was just like laser focused. Just trying to come up with a game plan because I just got laid off at one of the schools for advocating for students with disabilities. But anyway, so I just wasn't on that. Like, I wasn't looking for anybody. Were you looking for anybody like at that time? Where were you in your single journey life during the time when we first met? Where were you? Were you like looking for an African American to marry?
No, I would say no. I was.
What do you mean? Can you speak up?
Oh, I would say no. I wasn't looking for anybody. I wasn't at that moment. Honestly, I wasn't thinking about relationship. I was more focused on building my career. That is now setting up my top business and other stuff. So I was more focused on that. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's step one for us. Like, we weren't looking for like love. Like, I know like y'all want to be looking for love, but that's not our story. We weren't looking. Like, I wasn't even. How long were you single before you met?
I think more than 2 years, 2.5, like almost 3 years. Yeah,
I was single for a while too.
Years,
like, we weren't in relationships. We were just both doing our things. Again, like, he was just trying to build his career, figure, out his next moves. And I was just trying to figure out what I'm going to do now that I got fired for advocating for students. So we were not like looking at that. So I think like the days went on, during the tour, he was like talking a lot to like Astra, and that's my friend who invited us on a trip, and my sister, they were close. And, I think the first time that I really kind of was like looking at him was like, okay, wait. Like, I always knew he had worked hard, and we would have like little small conversations, but not like, we just weren't talking to each other. I guess because he was focused on work and I was just focused on, taking everything in Africa, but like still like, I can't believe I'm here, but then I'm fired. So like, I just wasn't there. But the one time that I think I kind of looked at you and I was like, wait a minute.
Where was it?
We were at the Manisha Palace. So it was during what's that 6-week celebration? Equestrian Day. Yeah. So they have like a 6-week celebration, the Ashanti Kingdom, like honoring the king and everything like that, right? And he comes out. So he took us there. And it was like all these reporters, people interviewing us about like, oh, first time in Ghana, year return, African American, blah, blah, blah. So all I remember is that like we started walking through the gates of the Manisha Palace. So I think we thought we were going to the museum. Yeah. But we ended up going to like eat dinner like in the backyard of the palace with like the king's granddaughter and some of the chiefs, like some of the dignitaries. So I was like, oh, like this is cool. Yeah. Like, how did we end up back here? So I'm like, oh, he got the hookup. He got us eating dinner with like the dignity. Like, it was really like in his backyard of the king's palace. Yeah. His granddaughter was like from the UK, and like all the dignitaries were like from the US. They weren't even like named. Sorry, that's a side note. Just like all like the chiefs and stuff like had British and English accents. So yeah, they were like giving us drinks, giving us food. We were having a good time. And then like towards the end, you know, we were all like meeting and greeting. It was like a meet greet, taking pictures. And he just seemed very proud to kind of make that happen for us. Like he was always hardworking, always professional, always respectful. And I was just like, this guy is very like hardworking, honest, stand up, like very humble. So I think that was my first time like, oh, like, you know, and he was getting, he wasn't crying, but he was like getting like kind of emotional because of like this moment was like happening. Like this was a big thing that he made happen for our group, and like everybody was like kind of like happy. So I think that made him happy to see how much of an impact he made on all of us during our trip. All right, yeah, so to fast forward, well, when was the first time that you noticed me? Like, did you notice me on a trip? Like, what was that like?
So the first time I noticed, I would say, I think the following day after the palace, that was
we were still in Kumasi.
We were still in Kumasi. That was the day before we went to the Slave River.
Okay.
So I think no. I think that the same day that we went to the Slave River, when we were going to a Confanoche site, that was where I noticed you. Yeah, when we were having a conversation in the car.
Oh, because that's what happened. Oh, good. That's reminding me. He thought I was flirting with him because we were by the nursing school in Kumasi. So, like, he's popular. Like, everybody knows Kofi, especially in Kumasi. Like, they know him in Accra, but not like the way he's known in Kumasi. So we were at the nursing school, and all the nurses was like coming to talk to him. So when he got in the van, I was like, "Oh, Kofi, they your girlfriend." He's like, "Oh, I'm pretty girls. They your shiny thing." Because we learned in Jamestown like how men look for their shiny thing. So I was like, "Oh, so that's your shiny thing?" And I was asking him like, "Oh, so do you got a girlfriend?" So I was just asking those questions. We were like, "Well, how old are you?" Like everybody was like asking those kind of questions or whatever. And he thought I was flirting.
Oh, I mean, not really, because I think almost everybody asks me similar questions. So,
well, how did you notice me that day then?
Oh, I noticed you when so I noticed how. So let's say a day before that, you after the palace, I think who was the roommate? That is Ashra and your sister and Hash. So I think after the palace, if you remember, I said that maybe after I see the driver off, I'll come and we all spend time
at the
pool area
at our hotel.
Yes, at the pool area at the hotel. But I think because of time, I didn't have the chance to come. So I think the morning I told you that I couldn't come, and you were like, "Oh, Kofi."
I said you stood up. You stood us up. I was waiting
for
you at the pool. So
when you said, I'm like, "Oh, really?" So she was really waiting. So I felt kind of touched by you still being waiting, like be serious about
I'm like, you were supposed to come to the pool last night.
Yeah, so me too. I felt bad that I couldn't make it to the pool the night before. So the following morning, when she said that she said she came from her room and looking for me at the pool. I'm like, okay, oh. So she made me feel bad that I didn't come. But anyway, I was tired and I need to also see the driver off. So something just came up. So I think so when we were in the bus and we were talking. So I think that is. Yeah.
So like, and then the whole trip, we were like a brother. It was like brother. Yeah. And I think on the last day.
And also, where the connection really matched well for me was when we went to the Slave River the same day. Like the Slave River.
Yeah, I remember that. The Slave River, we really just got like close for some reason. I'm not sure. I'm like,
so
is that the answer?
I think the Slave River was also when I was keeping a eye on her.
Yeah, and I was looking at him too, and I was like, "Is he looking at me?" You know, when you look at each other, I'm like, "Is it?" And this was like day 5, right? It was like the 5th day, or the 4th day. When did we go to the Slave River?
I think that was we went to that was the 5th day. You spent
it was like 8 days.
No, you spent 7 days. 7 or 8.
8 days.
8 days. So the Slave River was there. So that was before our first 5th day.
Yeah,
yes.
So like the 5th day. Yes. You know, when somebody looking at you, and I'm like, is he looking at me? You know, when you catch somebody's eyes. So that kind of thing like happened. Yes. But to me, after that, we was like, still my brother. Remember we just said my brother.
So that's what happened. Even when the Slave River, we were looking at each other. I mean, I was still working. So honestly, I was still working, and December was a busy season.
So he wasn't.
I was managing about 2 or 3 tours at the same time. Aside their group, there are some days I need to take another. So I was very
busy.
So I think So you can continue.
Yeah, so I think from there I was just like, you know, it was a flirt thing. I like him, like, but he's in Africa, like Ghana, like I'm in the U.S. So it's like I wasn't thinking of like, oh, that's love. Like I was just like, you know, like he's cute, whatever.
You're cute too.
So then, like at our last day, I remember we were like trying to get like Instagrams. I was like, oh, Kofi, like what's your Instagram?
So this is what happened on the last day. So the last day.
This was day 8. This was the 8th day.
So on the tour, that day of the tour, so the 8th day, that is the last day when they were going. We were in the van. So I think the 3 people were departing the morning. That was you, Ashura, and Kia. So when we were in the bus, I felt, because I've been with them for almost more than a week, almost a week. So we felt like a family. So they departing, I felt so emotional that, when I remember the experience I had with them, so I look back at the street and it was like they were also kind of sad that they are leaving. So I look at their face and I was feeling I was like, am I gonna see her again? Oh, Yaya, my sister, because she's gone. I was like, Yaya, my sister. Am I gonna see her again? So like I felt connected with her. I didn't know the connection was, sometimes you can feel connected with somebody, not like in a relationship way or maybe. So I felt connected with her. So in the bus, I'm like, I felt within me that I should get a contact, because I'm somebody that after my tour, I can do a whole tour, and the only person that will have his number is the one who organized the tour. The other people, I wouldn't even ask for the information. So I'm very professional that way. So I wanted to ask for a number, but I didn't. I could just ask, but.
Well, no, this is what you said. You was like, oh, Ayana, yeah, whatever. You was like, I'm going to miss you.
Yes, so I said, yeah, I'm going to miss you. And you said that, Kofi, I'm going to miss you too. But we were still in the bus.
And then he said, I'm going to miss you too. So then, go ahead.
So when we got down from the bus, you know the funny thing, because I began to like her so much, I was connected to her. And I didn't know, not that I wasn't confident. I'm very confident by. I wanted to approach for her number, but I didn't want it to be obvious. So what I did is that I asked her sister for her number. I asked the other 2 people for their numbers, and I got to her. I could have gone straight for her number.
No, before you asked me for my number, you asked me, remember we were like, oh, Instagram. And I was like, oh, now we could be friends. I was like, you my brother. I said, now we could be friends.
Yeah, I remember. So I think we asked, we were
exchanged about like Instagram.
We exchanged our Instagram, social medias. Yeah. I remember.
And then did I give you my number?
No.
When
I
you
think we talked about exchanging Instagram before. We talked about it in the car, but we didn't exchange it.
Yeah. So but when I left the last day, or when I was getting down,
I think I got your Instagram later. I think after you got to.
No, because remember, I kept saying brother, and we said we were gonna follow each other, because I distinctly remember like, oh, now we could be friends.
We can be friends. So the whole idea was that when we get down from the car, before you guys go enter the airport, I'll pick up your Instagram and IG. But when you get down, because later on I took Kia and the other person's number, I got your number. So I didn't ask for the IG and this thing. So we got that one after later we started chatting. So so that is what happened. So so guys, that is it. It's like so I think I got a number, but as we said, I was like, I didn't feel anything, like I was connected to her. I felt like, she was a nice person. I feel like, come on, like, you know how you can meet somebody for a day and you feel connected to the person. But I didn't think, I'll be honest, I didn't think like anything like anything. Honestly, I wouldn't say that. I wasn't even thinking anything like that. So I think when she got to the US, I think I tested. You made transit in Europe, right?
Yeah, we made transit.
Yeah, so I think I sent a text.
Oh, Ethiopia.
So you replied me. No, you didn't reply me. You replied me when you got to the US. So I think I left a test. Then you replied me. So I think,
and that's kind of how it
started. So we were just talking, chatting, and later on, we shared our visions, and Now
we're here.
And now we are here. So
So that's why we're here. And if you want to know more, just stay around, because we'll tell you the process of us meeting for 8 days, being together, to getting a number, and then to how we are married here in Ghana. So stick around, and in our next video, we will explain that process.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video.
Yeah, subscribe, y'all. I know we have not been consistent, but just subscribe anyway, because one day we will be consistent. I mean, consistent.
We
is
are
the word.
amateur YouTubers.
Yeah, no, like seriously, this year is our year. Not like in a few months though, because yeah. Subscribe. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
All right, guys.